A very beautiful Saturday to you all. Hope you guys are having a very beautiful time. This is an impromptu video. I'm right here in the trenches, trying to fix things here in the warehouse. That reminds me, somebody once commented on my video and asked, how do I flip out? What do you exactly mean when you say you are in the trenches? What I mean is that, see, if you look outside, the weather is so beautiful. It's sunny. It's about 25 degrees today. And it's a Saturday. This is a day a lot of people would have loved to, go out, chill outside by the beach, swim, just spend some time with friends. But I am right here, trying to make sure that, some of the things in this warehouse are actually put in place. If you observe, I have changed the position of, the position I normally record, my videos when I'm setting up my PCs, because I realized that the first position wasn't really doing justice. The view was kind of a little bit not so good. The images were blurred. I do not know how this is going to come out. Hopefully, it comes out very, very good. And when I finish setting up, I still have to go ahead and clean this PC, one of the PCs that I sold yesterday. But then I said, let me make a test video, but then, just make a little comment, because if you have been following all the drama going on in the reseller community in the last few weeks, you would have pretty much understood that a lot is going on. And I'm not in the habit of getting myself mixed up in this drama, but I felt like something I would have loved to, some tip I would have loved to give to you out there. If you, are a young reseller, or you are trying to even, start out to selling out on a platform, be it eBay, be it Facebook Marketplace, be it whatnot. First of all, you have to understand that these platforms, they are businesses. I am a business, and I also sell on eBay, another business. So it's like a business to business relationship. And most businesses, they've got their rules, they've got their policies, and the least thing you want to do is to be at loggerhead with the policies of a business. If a business have policies that you do not agree with, I want to imagine that you might do yourself a lot of good if you do not start out with selling on that platform. If you understand something, whenever you go out to, to start to sell on a platform, while creating your account, you are always expected to kind of tick, the box that says you kind of agree with the terms and conditions of the business, of the platform, all right? And if you do not tick that box, you are not allowed to actually, complete the opening of your account. This is pretty much standard practice. Every business have got their policies. If you go to my eBay shop, you're going to be seeing a lot of what you call terms and conditions. There are a lot of legal text. I talk about my return policies. I talk about, how many months or how many years guarantee I give on my item that I sell, like a PC like this. I tend to talk about so many things where customers need to send back my return, if customers are going to bear the cost of the returns. All these are well spelled out, in the terms and conditions, which I have actually uploaded onto eBay. And the idea is, if a buyer is not, in agreement with these terms and conditions, there's no problem. All you have to do is to go elsewhere and try to buy what you want to buy. It makes no sense, for a buyer to come ahead, read my terms and conditions and not be in agreement, still goes ahead and buy my item, and then wants to come around and try to, change things. This is not just the way things are done. Of course, eBay as a platform, if you want to excel on this platform, you want to use, the features that this platform has put in place. You want to be able to put your goods there. You want to be able to reach out to, thousands of potential buyers all over the world. Yes, this is eBay. You have to kind of, go by their policies. Yes, some of their policies, you might not find it, very, very good. You might not find it very fair. I mean, you're talking about being fair. There are so many things to consider. You might not find it fair, but then this is a business, and the business, when they say they want things done like this, they do not want certain items listed on their platform. They want you to, adhere to some listing standards and so on and so forth. The least thing that we can actually do as sellers is just to go ahead, and agree to these things. If you feel like you want to continue doing business on that platform, I want to continue doing business on eBay. And what I always do is to strive as much as possible to make sure I set up my offers according to what the platform wants. Because the truth of the matter is, without eBay, I did try to sell on Amazon a long time ago, but it was just a different beast altogether. And I felt like eBay was just a platform for me. I understood, the algorithm. I understood what the platform wanted for us as sellers. And ever since, I have always been trying to make sure that I am kind of in compliance to what the platform wants. And I'm going to tell you that, look, I've never really had any problems with eBay. Even when I had problems with customers, I reached out to eBay. I expressed my own side of the story. eBay have always come around because we also have some policies on eBay called the seller protection. And if everything is well spelled out, have your shipping number uploaded onto the eBay sales that you've made, and a buyer is trying to kind of play you a fast one, eBay will definitely come around and side with you as a seller. Of course, I have been selling on this platform 2013, never really had any problems with eBay. This is just because I strive as much as possible to make sure that, look, I am in compliance with what the platform wants, because I understand that this is a business. Come to think of it, I as a business, I won't be happy if somebody comes to my shop to try to buy something, and the next thing the person comes around and tries to, want to prove that, like, look, this is how things should be done. Your policies are not correct. The policies that have made it possible for you to be in business for years, you have to go ahead and change it, all because I came to your, I want to buy your computer. That is just going to be a mess. And if you are a new seller on eBay, I'm talking about you. If you're an OG, knock yourself out, do whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to give you a tip that I feel that might be helpful to you as a new seller. If you are a new seller, you want to make progress on this platform. Like I said, this is platform independent. You want to go ahead and sell online. If you do not have your own website and you are thinking of, going onto Shopify to open a website, or to, go onto a platform like eBay, on Amazon, on whatnot, the platforms, they all pretty much have policies, and they are not going to bend their policies just for one person, one singular seller. They're not going to do that. Even if you are the biggest, seller on the platform, they're not going to do that, because they know that if they begin to bend their policies, or they begin to make policies on individual basis, it's just going to be a total chaos. And this is why the platforms don't do that. They come around as a business. They decide what's going to be best for them. They decide what's going to be best for their customers. And most times they want to, adhere strictly to these policies. And to be honest, I've been selling here for a long time. I sell computers on eBay. I have not really found any policy that can be referred to as, draconian. This is my own, take. This is my own experience. I don't know. Of course, I hear people have different experiences out there, but for what I've experienced, eBay is a very solid platform. It's a very solid place to do business. And as a business that I am, I get decent computers like this. I make good pictures. According to how eBay have also said, I ensure that I have, good background. I ensure that I sell computers that eBay have said, this one is approved to be sold. And if eBay comes around and say a particular PC should not be sold on the platform, I'm not going to come here and begin to make stories. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that offer and move on to the next item that I can sell on the platform. This is the way I want to do my business. And in this way, you can just avoid, any friction with the platform. If the platform comes around and says, look, I do not want you selling this thing on my platform because we have our reasons for deciding that, I'm not going to come here and begin to say, no, eBay is not fair in deciding that, because the problem is we do not have, the insider information that eBay has. And sometimes we make judgment based on what we feel, not based on what eBay is saying, or based on what, eBay as a business is deciding in a way as to protect their business interest. Sometimes we forget the fact that this is a business, and every business has got its, business interests, its trade secrets, its do's and don'ts. It is just normal, because if you want to succeed on any particular platform, the best thing you want to do is to just adhere to this platform. But if you say, no, I do not want to be, tied to any platform, I want to have my own website where I can go ahead and pump out my items, generate my own traffic, then knock yourself out, because in this way, you're not going to be tied to whatever you might think is an unfair policy. Look, this is something I feel like I should let you know, because if you are not aware, yes, you see a lot of people making YouTube videos of their activities on eBay. Like, it's pretty much standard. If you are a reseller right now and you are not, making videos of your activities, I want to tell you guys, you are leaving money on the table, because that is the game. If you have a reselling business, you also have to be making content, because your content, it can actually be monetized on YouTube, and you can make like banks doing that. See, I'm not making any money on this channel, so don't begin to classify me as a YouTube retailer. I have a business that sells pretty much computers on a daily basis, but I'm just saying that, look, every platform, they've got their rules. Just like your own business, you've got your rules. You do not want people to come here and buy your stuff and return them in a very shabby manner. If you people have to return your items, I want to imagine that you would have loved people to, return these items in a very responsible manner, well packed, cleaned up, sent back the way you have actually sent it to them. You don't want people to come here, just throw your items into a box and then send it back to you and expect a full refund of their money. That's not going to be acceptable by you. And these are your own conditions. And most times when people come to your website or your shop to buy things, you actually want them to respect your conditions. eBay is not different. eBay is a business, as I said. And the things that you do not want to do is for you to be at loggerhead with the platform rules, with the platform policies. Because when that is the case, they are going to bundle you and they are going to throw you out of the platform. And believe me, business is not going to suffer for the platform. They are going to continue to have people selling there. They are not going to have any, feeling whatsoever. They're not going to sit back and begin to be remorseful. Why have we sent you back? Why have we sent you out? This is just what it is. They are going to take a look and see that you are not somebody that the platform wants to have. They're not going to waste time in kicking you out so that you do not come here and pollute the business that they have spent years actually building. Of course, it's not perfect. There is no platform that can be considered perfect. If things are not working, sometimes let's be patient with the platform. eBay is where we make our money. Nothing is perfect. Even the business that we are building, sometimes customers also have reasons to complain about our businesses. That why don't I reply? Just a few days ago, some customer wrote me asking for something. I did make a video about it, asking to want to get a similar kind of PC. I didn't reply the buyer, on time, and the buyer went ahead, bought something that wasn't correct, and the buyer did go ahead to bear the cost of the return of that PC. Of course, this wasn't perfect transaction from my own side. The customer right now has every right to actually say that, look, this is not a competent seller because I sent him an email and he didn't reply. Yes, there is no platform or business that is perfect. We've all got our different challenges. We've all got things that you might take a look at and say, look, this is not fair. But when that is the case, let us, bear with this platform, because understand that without these platforms, they are giving us a very massive opportunity to make money. They're giving us massive opportunity to reach out to people. And let's respect that and, help the platform by just bearing with them even when things don't seem to work out. If I have to lose, money on just one PC, let's say this PC was bought, a buyer tried to scam me and eBay doesn't, come to my rescue, I'm not going to allow just this one transaction, to jeopardize all the business, all the effort I have put in on eBay over the years, or the business I have been fortunate to build on this platform. I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm just going to chew it. More often than not, these things don't tend to happen all the time. Sometimes here and there, 1 or 2 years, you get one bad transaction. 1, 2, 3 years, you get 2, 3, 4, 5 bad transactions. It is not enough for you, to throw away, the baby with the bathwater. If you are a new seller, understand that there are so many things going on. There are so many platforms out there, and these platforms, they've got rules, they've got policies. Do your best to be in compliance with these policies. This is what I have for you today. Hope it helps you. Hope it gives you a little bit of insight. And let me know what you think in the comment section. And in any case, I want to wish you all a happy weekend ahead. Peace.